For this next part, for part 3, we're going to look at potassium iodide and lead nitrate. You can retrieve the materials from the teacher, but for simplicity's sake, I already have them. So, you just grab one test tube beaker, holding one of the test tube clamps over the sink. Should be able to see that. And then, we can add each individual one to the bigger test tube beaker to see what's happening. The lead nitrate, and potassium iodide. And already we can see a fine yellow, bright yellow color emerge. So, not only that, but it looks pretty solid. We're going to test this out with a couple things. Our first method of testing this out, see if it is a new chemical, is with a strainer, a beaker, and some coffee filters. Now that I have it mixed over the sink, I can then place the coffee filter in the 100 milliliter beaker and see if this will separate them. So if all went well, we should see exactly what kind of experiment this became. Sometimes fine to add a little bit of water to the coffee filter so it fits in the strainer or the funnel a little bit easier and it actually sticks in there. So now that we have that focused on there, let's see if the yellow can separate from the chemicals. We can see it a little bit separated, but it may just be not enough of one versus the other. And just by a quick observation, a lot of these, the yellow remained in the big test tube because it kind of became a solid. What did drain is small bits of yellow, but if we look at the properties compared to what we had before to what we had now, the properties of the potassium iodide and lead nitrate were two clear liquids, and now we have a yellow solid. So that implies that we might have some kind of combination instead of a mixture. I'm not going to have you boil this because we can already see in our filter paper, most of what happened was it separated out by the filter paper, and we didn't really have any liquid left over. From what we did, might just be too fine to pass through, or just some excess of one or the other chemical. So that oftentimes happens with chemical reactions. You may have a little bit too much of one versus the other, unless you have extremely precise molar masses and amount of liquid, which we don't. So there's always going to be a little bit liquid. So that tiny little bit left in there may just be some experimental error. But pretty much all of it ended up as a solid in there and in our bigger test tube. So, what do you think? Compound or a mixture? Why or why not?